Good morning. Welcome to our morning devotion. This morning, I want to talk to you about another inner thing that often as Christians we deal with. Where I am bringing this from, where I'm reading about this verse in the Bible, is Psalms 139, 23, 24, the beginning of 24. And it says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see that if there be any grievous way in me." Now, as we become closer and closer to Jesus Christ, something interesting happens. Before we start that journey with Him, or while we're still resisting Him, we think we're pretty good. We think we're not that sinful. You know, them over there, they they're the ones that aren't doing so well in life. You know, they're the ones that are sinning. But the phenomena that happens is as we grow closer to Jesus Christ, we start to see our own sinfulness more and more. Now, I remember when I was a small girl, I was probably about 8 years old, and my mom had made me these Raggedy Ann dolls. There was Raggedy Ann and there was Raggedy Andy. And she had so the little "I love you" on the heart, and they had the black and white striped legs and the red loopy hair. And they were my favorite, especially Raggedy Ann. I used to change her clothes and play with her and take her everywhere. Well, this one summer, we went on a camping trip with some other families, and we set up all of our tents. We were down by a stream. We were fishing. It was a wonderful time. One evening, while all of the adults sat around the campfire, me and a couple of the older girls went back to the tents to play. Now, these girls weren't that much older than me, maybe 3, maybe 4 years older than me, but I had these dolls. These girls wanted to play with these dolls. And as it goes, sometimes when two girls want the same thing, they started fighting. One girl got a hold of the legs, the other one got a hold of the head of my Raggedy Ann, and they pulled her apart. They pulled the poor doll's head off. Now, I can look back at that now and have a little bit of a chuckle, but there is still that place in my heart where I remember being so resentful against these girls. I'm sure all of you have a similar experience where something happened to you in your past, or maybe not so past, where you have held resentment in your heart. Resentment leads to us holding a grudge. And us holding a grudge is as if we are retaliating against that person, except the more that we retaliate, the more that we hold that grudge, the only person that we're hurting is ourselves. In fact, we're allowing that person that originally hurt us again and again and again every time we nurse that grudge. Now, what is this? You see that when we look for this revenge with our resentment, which is a grudge, we we nurse that grudge. What that person said, we think about it way too much, and in doing so, we start to withhold. I no longer wanted to be these girls' friend. I withheld my friendship from them. Occasionally, I would talk to other people about how mean they were. And I also no longer wanted to give them any space in my life. And so what I was giving them by holding a grudge was actually hurting me more than them. They were probably still really nice girls. In fact, one of them in the future, we became good friends. But as a child and as a young adult, I really still held a grudge against these people. When we have these grudges, when we hold these resentments, we exact that revenge by making judgments about them, about their heart, about their value, about their very character. And in doing so, we're sinning because we think that we have the power to make a judgment about that person's heart, about what's going on with them. Whenever we use those words, they, that church, those people, that side of the family, whenever we use those words, we need to check our hearts because often that is where we are still holding resentments. I know this is hard because sometimes those resentments are held very deeply in our hearts. God's word says in Hebrew 12:15, see to it that no one fails to obtain the grace of God, and that no root of bitterness springs up and causes trouble, and by it we may become defiled. I want to see every one of you in heaven someday. I don't want there to be any surprises for you. I want you to be able to boldly come before the cross today to bring your prayers before Him instead of nursing some root of bitterness from your past. I encourage you to boldly come before the throne of grace and confess your sin of bitterness, your sin of holding resentments and grudges. I know that we've all had them in the past. Make sure that this is not holding you back in your relationship with Jesus Christ. As you come closer and closer before Him, He will reveal more and more of the places that He wants to heal your heart, because that's what this is about. He's in the business of healing your heart and of bringing you to a place where you have a wonderful community around you who cares about you and lifts you up to Him. May God bless you. May you have a wonderful week. Goodbye.